Okay, hi everyone. I am here with Dr. Laylah today. So we're going to be having a good chat about menstrual cups and just our couplings kit as well, and kind of debug the taboos and the stigmas associated with talking about these kind of things and using different period products in general. So Dr. Laylah is known on Instagram as the Medstagram. She's a doctor that not only makes an impact with patients that she sees daily, but she also makes a difference in her local communities. I'll share her profile and the work she's doing on our socials and probably our website as well. She's got a really nice write-up and she's doing a lot of work on the ground. Thanks for being here today, Dr. Laylah.
Thank you so much for having me.
That smile, it gets me every time, even on Instagram. When you're just smiling like that, I know you've made a win. Before we get started, I wanted to find out, how did we get to know each other?
So I follow a lot of women's health, menstrual product pages, and yours came up because one of my friends had posted one of your stories, and I really like trying new menstrual products, especially when it comes to cups, because there's so many different brands. So I thought, I was like, okay, this is like something new, something I haven't seen before. And what I liked, or what sort of pulled my attention initially, was the fact that you had 3 sizes in your your little kit. And all of the menstrual cups that I do own have all come separately. So it was nice to have like this like sort of all-in-one situation that had 3 cups, had the cleaning cup as well, and the little carry bag. So I thought it was like such a nice way to package it, and it was also a really nice gift, because I don't know why I just thought of it as a gifting idea, but I thought it was really like something that I engaged with you guys quite a bit, because some of my content, especially around women's health, was very sort of resonated with you, and I think that's that's what I remember of us like sort of linking up.
Yeah, I remember like reacting to so many of your things. I'm like, am I overdoing it? Because everything you post I love, so it's just like hard to know genes and everything. And then I do remember watching your video on menstrual cups, and I was like, ooh, I need more information from her. She knows her stuff.
I think when I first started using my menstrual cup, I think I was the only person who had heard of it in my friend group, but I was also like, I'm tired of tampons, because like the waste associated with it, and also like it's not that comfortable. Like, no. I don't know if everybody, I never thought that they were like 100% comfortable, but I do have polycystic ovarian syndrome. I do bleed quite a lot. I always had to find I always had to be like a double menstrual product user, so I'd have to use a tampon and liner, and then I was just like, there has to be like something better. I've tried menstrual underwear, that did not work. Like the gusset was just not robust enough for me.
Feel you.
Came out, I was just like, okay, this is something new. Initially, the cups that I'd received were not like the volume wasn't enough for me.
Okay.
And then shopped around and actually found ones, and like your one actually, it actually holds quite a bit of volume. So I was like, oh my word, okay, finally. And yeah, so that's how I only use menstrual cups. The only time I think in the last year that I haven't used it was when I went on vacation and I forgot my cup at home.
I know.
But like for the rest of the time,
it's the worst feeling ever. That's actually how I created the kit, because I came to England and forgot my cup as well. I was coming to visit family and I forgot it. I went to my grandma's house and I had to go buy tampons, and that switch from the cup going back to tampons, I was like, no, I can't do this. How are people doing this? And I think that's what started the whole journey of creating this whole cup kit. I think they always say that what is the saying where you don't miss something till it's gone?
Yeah.
So I never appreciated my cup or actually enjoyed using. Like when I say enjoyed using it, I used to be like, oh, I've got to change it, and it's been 12 hours. I used to find that like a headache. instead of actually
Yeah.
being thankful that every 12 hours I could change it. I used to actually
'Cause, like,
complain about it.
sometimes you have to be a lot more like aware of like having to change it. With the cups, you're just like, "Ugh, I can just like leave it for later, leave it for later." Like it doesn't immediately bother you. But like obviously working in like in health, you've heard of toxic shock, and like I've only had, if I had one patient like in my whole 10 years being in medicine who had toxic shock. Wasn't specifically because of a tampon, but like you know what happens when they do go into toxic shock, and you're just like, okay, this is something to actually be like very aware of. A lot of people don't actually read the package inserts for a tampon, like the maximum amount of time you can have it in these 4 hours, not when it's full. Actually keep tampons in until like they feel uncomfortable, they feel like it's full. And like that's like a misconception. Like nobody like and I don't know if this was for you, but like when I got my first period, my mom basically like sat me down, and like my only option at the time was like a pad, because I think I was quite young. I think I was like 11 or 12 when I had my first period. So obviously my parents were not, hey, here's tampons. They're like, oh no, like let's start like slowly. Gave me the pad, and they were like, okay, this is how you use it. Like when your flow is light, you use this one. When it gets heavier, you use this one. And I sort of went through those.
And this was your mom, was it?
Yeah, it was my mom.
Nice.
But like when it comes, I was just like, I started swimming, and I was actually like on the swim team, and I'm just like, I don't know how this works. So one of the girls on my team was just like, oh, here's a box of tampons, and I'm looking at this thing, I'm like, I understand how it works, but like didn't really read the package insert, like just sort of went on what she said, and like nobody trains you on like this part of being like a woman.
Yeah.
And like even using like it's not rocket science, so yeah.
But I think like we always talk about like taboos and speaking about this stuff, but even with our close friends, they don't really teach us either. It's kind of like you should know.
Yeah, it's just like this I don't know, there's just like the sort of thing like everybody goes through it, like everybody talks about their period cramps or their periods in general, but nobody actually talks about like the detail. But obviously like circles, it's a little bit different, because like of the types of people that I'm friends with. We're all doctors, we all talk about these things in a little bit more detail. But with my friends who are like quite normal people jobs, it makes them uncomfortable. I'm actually just thinking about when I was speaking to my cousins, and she had asked me about like how does a menstrual cup work, and like just like details.
Were you using it at the time?
And she was, yes, I was. So they were just like, oh, you don't use like, what do you use? Because I'm like, oh, I don't use. Because I was like, oh, I don't use like pads or tampon. They're like, pads, tampon, like what else is there? And then she was so mortified that I put this little cup in my vagina, like blew her mind. She was just like, no ways, like she's like, that's just not happening. And I was just like, I mean, like, don't like hate it until you try it. So I'm still like slowly encouraging her into like the cup cult, that I like, that's sort of like what I call it. But like everybody that I've spoken to about using menstrual cups, once they've used it, like they're like basically like converted, like you don't want to go back to anything else.
Yeah, we're that annoying cult. We are a cult because once we've used them, we like want everyone to try them because they're so easy. It's so comfortable, and people are like, what are these guys? Are they selling something? Are they profiting from this? It's like, no. Honestly, everyone I speak to, and they're like, oh, I hate using these, or tampons are like that. And I was just like, convert to cups. And actually, everyone I speak to as well that don't like cups is because they say it leaks. That's the only thing they all say to me. And I was like, it only leaks because you're using the wrong size or you're inserting it wrong. Because if you speak to people who have been using them, we literally can't feel them.
Yeah. And it does take a little bit of practice. Like even with me, with the first ones that I got, I realized that I was using like the cup, like I thought the that I didn't bleed as much. Like I knew I had like a heavy flow, but as soon as I used like a bigger cup and like figured out how to insert it properly, and like watched enough YouTube videos, and like it's really just a trial and error thing. But once you get it, like once you your body and like you sort of like get in sync with it, and you're like, okay, if I fold it like this fold, for insertion works for me, this other one really doesn't, or this is how, like, I'm probably leaking because like when I inserted it and then like the circle didn't sort of like unfold properly. Like you figure it out a while, you like sort of feel what the problem is, and then after a while like it doesn't leak. I don't think I've had a leak in like a while now, so I'm pretty sure my technique is actually getting better.
Yeah, no, I feel you, because that was me as well. I used to wear a liner when I first started because I was really scared. I was like, there's no ways this cup is not just going to pop out of me. I was like not confident in it when I first started. Then when I used it, I was like, oh, this is nice, but I'd have like a few like spots because I clearly hadn't inserted it properly or not high enough, or it was too low. I was scared to put it in. But yeah, it took me about 2 cycles and I was good. Did it take long for you?
So for me, my main issue was getting it in, because like the folding. So what I started, so like I didn't read the instructions properly, so I thought like the folding was a suggestion. So I was just like trying to like figure it out. It's like sort of like raw dogging it, like trying to get it in, and I was just like, I don't know. And then I was like, no, like let me actually just like read these instructions properly. Then I saw like the page with like all of the different folds, and I tried all the different folds. All of the different folds had a name. So
That's
like,
overwhelming.
Like, yeah. And after like, I think it didn't take me as quick as you. I think it was like 3 or 4. I was still wearing like a liner in between, and because I was like still trying to get comfortable. But my biggest issue that I like now realize in hindsight, my cups are just too small for the volume. So what would happen is so I like watched a couple of YouTube videos, and like what would actually happen is the cup would fill, and like the vacuum would like something would happen to the vacuum, and then basically the vacuum wouldn't hold, and then the blood would overflow. So like that was like my specific problem. So I was like, okay, fine. So, and like once I got it was fine. Like I didn't have any issues.
So you say you've got a heavy period. So do you use the small or the large, or do you move between the two?
I moved between the small and the large. So in the beginning parts of my period, I used the small, and then in the middle for like 2-3 days, I used the large one. And the large one is also like really good for when I'm like very active. Like I swim, I run. I do like a lot of like outdoor sports. I hike. So like having the cup is actually really great for me, because especially like using like the bigger cup, because then I don't have to worry about it, and like B, just like know that it's there, and like I won't be like a changing situation that needs to happen. So I through the small and the large, and like they've like basically worked like beautifully for me.
I love moving between two. I think that's, again, I keep saying why we created the kit, but when I was doing it, I was like, I was using a small from another company, and I was like, it's not winning for me, because I need something smaller first, and then I need to move on to my small for when I'm heavier, because I don't have the heaviest periods. So I think that's what's nice about having the 3 cups, is that you can literally use all 3, or you can move between 2.
Yeah.
When you say like how long you use the large, like when you're running and stuff, how long does it usually take to fill up, being a heavy user?
So I usually do so when I get up, like I obviously do change, and then, or like clean, don't know what the technical term is, and then I go for my run, and then like I will go for my run, like shower, go to work, maybe by like the time I come back from work, so like 3ish. Yeah, because like I don't usually do a change at work, but like by the time I do change, it is like a little bit uncomfortable, but like no leaks. And then when I do like empty it out, it's like so much away from like the rim. So, but it's not like so it's not it takes a few hours, but like I know that it's full. But it doesn't, but it hasn't gotten to the leaking stage. But like I usually like 8 or so hours, sometimes 6, like if I'm super heavy.
Wow. That's really good, because I've spoken to a few girls, and they're like are so worried. They're like, I'm heavy, do I need to change it every 2 hours? I said, you can, but most people who are heavy don't have to change it that often. So it's nice to know you can go about your day and still not have to worry as much as if you maybe had a tampon in or something like that.
Yeah, and it's like after a while you start being a little bit more aware of it.
You start walking
and
funny and you're like, do I need to change it?
yeah, so like I don't have that issue with the it's worked
You
out
know,
pretty.
do you know what I love the most, actually? I was thinking about it with my coupling, is that I remember when I had my tampons on and you think you have to change them, you've got to literally pull it out to check if it's full or not. Then you've got to get a whole new one and put it in. So at least with the coupling, you're not wasting. You just take it out. Oh, okay, it's not full. Put it back in. Because sometimes I don't have another tampon to be checking. I can't be checking throughout the day and go through like 6 tampons in a day. It's just not economical, you know. So yeah, when
And
you
I
see
tap
all
on
the nice things like that, menstrual cups, like all the benefits that they have, you're like, wow, why aren't more people using them?
yeah, like that's like my thoughts exactly. Like that's why like a lot of my Instagram followers as well, they're like you're trying to start a cult, and like I'm not sure if it's working, but I've convinced like a few people, and like it just works out way cheaper. I mean, like the startup cost is a little bit like pricey, depending on like where you get it, but like you're not going to have to buy anything else. Like that's the thing that I keep on reminding people. I'm like, you're spending like when I still use like tampons and pads, like I would use like organic, like very fair trade, like cotton use tampons, and like it would cost me like easily like 100 rand for a period, and I'm just like save that money for like 3 or 4 months, and then like just not spend on it again. But I think I understand why it can be so like foreign, because it's like not mainstream. But like as soon as things become like mainstream, then people sort of start warming up to it and like try to like experiment with it. But I think I think this is why having these conversations and like starting like starting a company where you're just like, this is something that's actually out there, and like something that we can offer, and like just speaking to people and like letting them know about it, because like people and so like their practices, and they say like they're aware of a product that exists. And I think that's why like advocacy, especially for women's health, moving on to like a separate social issue that we have, especially in South Africa, is like period poverty. Like some girls just don't go to school when they have their period. Like, what are they supposed to do? They can't afford pads, so they just have to sit at home and like wait for their cycle to end. It obviously causes issues like school. They're not catching up, are not on the same page as the rest of the class, and there's obviously an issue that like boys just never have to face. So menstrual cup is like something that you can clean so easily with water, like literally boiling water to clean it before you use it the first time, and then to just like rinse it out in between, and like you're good to go. There's another foundation that I follow also on Instagram, from Cape Town. They actually like send out menstrual cups rather than sanitary pads. I know they do also have sanitary pad drives, because it's very difficult to explain how to use a menstrual cup, especially when there's a language. So even just providing the support for girls who can't go to school in ways that they feel comfortable. Like, I also don't think that it's fair of us to be like, no, menstrual cups are great, when like there's just like the language barrier, and we can't force somebody to use something, but to just give them the option of, hey, like these are ways that you can like make it easier for you to go to school, and I think the products as a whole are like really good. Like, I don't know, like maybe 300 years ago we didn't have all of these options, and it's so good that we do have these options now. And obviously like sharing the resources and like sharing just sharing the knowledge that we have with people who like don't have the access that we do. It's also like a really foundations and like companies like yours, who are very much about like not about like selling something, but like just like sort of having like this big to sort of, I don't know, like the social change aspect of like, yes, you have a product, but like the things that come with it, like just like making girls feel like more comfortable with their bodies. I mean, using a menstrual cup gets you like very intimate with your vagina, and like just like having like you're touching down there, but like most girls like just don't know what's going on there, and like maybe this is a way for you to become a little bit more comfortable with your body, and like to be able to like, you know, speak about, or like, you know, you've been changing your menstrual cup for a while and all of a sudden like there's a weird bump like that wasn't there before, getting more in your own body and like understanding it more, and like being able to pick up on those signs when there is something wrong. So there's so many like other things that come with like menstrual health, and they sort of all like tie in with each other.
Yeah, it's like a whole branch, like a domino effect, really, isn't it? They all meet at the same place. So also, like you were saying, with so even though that we are pro menstrual cups, we never like to look down on foundations or anyone who are doing pads and tampons, because there's a place for everyone in the world. As long as we're all making a difference, it doesn't matter what we're doing, but we're making a change in people's lives. So yeah, we may be pro menstrual cups, but we'll never knock the other ones down.
Yeah.
So like even with our, so I don't know if you know, but we've got the Couplings Cups, which is the company, and then we also have the Couplings Foundation. So a lot of people say, oh, but like, why have you got both? So initially, all I wanted to do was be a foundation and help girls out, and just show them how amazing menstrual cups are. But then I also didn't want to just give one cup to girls, because I was like, if someone gave one cup to me, it may not fit, it may not be the right thing for me. What if I need the next size? What if I'm like heavy flow? What if I have a baby? And I'm like, my whole passion in life is to create solutions. So am I actually giving them a solution, or am I creating another problem by giving them just one cup? So I went out to companies, I asked them like, how can I make this kit? I need 3 cups. And everyone was just either saying they couldn't do it for me, or it was costing me like 1,200, like up to 1,600 Rand just for a kit. I was like, okay, so it's possible, but it's too expensive. I can't, how am I going to find people to help me find 1,600 for a 3-cup kit? So that's when we decided to make the company, because we can then source the things ourselves. We can know the quality. We can make sure that it only costs us like retail $3.99 and $2.50 if you're going to donate. So that's why we have the company. So I always like to like let people know it's not just that we're this company trying to sell cups. The company was like a byproduct of our passion to try and help girls in Africa.
Yeah, and I think that's very important, that it wasn't like because like there's a lot of like, obviously like women are just like basically like 50% of the population, and it's very easy to like sell us stuff, and like especially when it comes to health and women's health and like women's wellness, and like there's a lot of like catchphrases going around. But like the fact that you're from the jump telling us, okay, we have this like, this is our product, but also like we're trying to create social change. And even with like anybody that I work with, or anybody that I follow or like engage with on any platform, I always try to make sure that they have like some sort of you know, like some contribution to social change. And like that's why I really like coupling so much, and I'm like recommending so many people, because it's not just a business, it's like the social change aspect. And you know, the like the passion that you guys have for women's health is so amazing and so inspiring.
Thank you so much. Before I carry on, I have some questions here. So I've got like friends, and we've also got followers on the Couplings page who've been asking us questions, and I thought I'd ask you. So let me get them out for you. Right, the first one, okay, we've answered about your experience with exercising with it, but when you're on your period, do you use a cup when you sleep?
Yes. So I find it, like if I use it during the day when I have like the most vigorous activity, I keep it in at night. I just do like a quick change, like a little check, just before I get to bed. Put it in, and then when I wake up in the morning, usually like when I go to pray, or like just to get up in the morning basically, then I just check it, empty it out, and then like I like go on with my day.
And then
I don't have any
like a heavy flow, you find that it's okay like overnight?
Yeah, so that's why like I check it just before I go to bed. So it's just like part of like me. And then I check it like first time in the morning. If I do wake up at some point in the night, and I just like sort of check, like if I feel uncomfortable, then I usually go and change. But like don't usually have like any issues.
Yeah. But you know what I love most about sleeping with mine? Like when you have a pad, like you've got to sleep in the same position because you cannot move because you're scared of leaks.
Leak everywhere.
You're like stuck there in bed. And but even with the tampon, I feel like I just can't be free. But with a menstrual cup, you can literally like your arm can be there, your legs can be there. No one will even know you're wearing one. Like it's just awesome. Can we start with the cult stuff again? Yeah, I love sleeping with mine. Okay, the next one is do you find it easy to change in general at work and in public?
So to change it at work is fine because we have little basins in the bathroom.
Oh,
So
nice.
like that's never. So usually just like empty it out into the loo, and then I just rinse it out. I just make sure that I sanitize like the whole basin, the whole area once I'm done, because obviously like you don't want to freak anybody afterwards. And in public, I've only had to change it once, but I usually keep keep wet wipes in my handbag, especially like now during COVID. Like I always have like hand bag. So if I do by some like weird, I don't know, take it out weird or put it in weird, and then my fingers get a little bit like messy, I know that I can like just wash my hands when I come out of the bathroom. Sometimes like when the stalls are a little bit like smaller, or like you don't, because like I don't usually like use like sit on seats in public places like on the toilet. So it's a little bit tricky, but like if you really need to change it, like you will know. So I've only had maybe like once or twice, but most of the time I don't like if I have an issue with it. I'm changing it in public, or I just like try to use disabled bathroom. I know that's like a bad thing.
That's what I do.
It's just a little bit more, it's a bit easier because like there's a little bit more space to like wiggle around and like do what you need.
But look, I only recommend disabled bathrooms when you know how to change a cup. Otherwise, you'll be in there for like 10 minutes trying to get the fold right. So yeah, I always check when I'm like out. I always run for the disabled one, and then I'm always looking to see if there's anyone coming, because I know I can literally take it out, change it before someone who is disabled gets to the toilet. I know that I've got like a minute to do it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think once, like, I've been using it now for 8 years, and I think you just become a pro.
Yeah.
Actually, no, to be honest, I have a confession to make. The other day, so my mom's godson is living with us, so he's about 6. And every time I'm on the toilet, I'm thinking he's just going to knock on the toilet and he's going to need it. So I was in a rush and I was trying to change my cup, popped it in, came out, and I could feel that feeling where you know it's just not in right. You're like, I rushed this. And I was like, right, I need to make an Instagram story on this, because even after 8 years, we can still find it hard if we rush it. You've got to just be calm. I've noticed when I'm like I'm super anxious, like I pop it in, but it doesn't go in properly, and it's just a mess. You just got to relax.
And also like feel like, and like you just have to like, it doesn't actually take that long, but like if you are in like pressed for time or feel pressed for time, then like something usually just doesn't work.
Yeah. Okay, let's get to the next thing. Okay, can you help us bust the myth of a cup getting lost inside of you?
Okay, so a lot of people have actually asked me, but basically your vagina is basically like this tube, and then if you think of your cervix, it's sort of wait, let me just use this. Okay, so this is just like my water bottle thing. Like this is literally the only thing that I have next to my bed. So if you can imagine. So like this, so basically like think of like the area where like the water is in, that's like basically like your vagina. Like they say this is the entrance of your vagina, this is all of your vagina, right? So if you can think, so if you see like this like sort of top part, it's sort of, but it's open on the inside, but your cervix is actually closed. So like your cervix is so small, like the blood actually like just trickles through. So there's no actually go to, because it's all like this closed area. So yeah, you can't lose a menstrual cup, and if you could lose a menstrual cup, I'm pretty sure somebody would have said something in the news by now.
The only thing that can go up into the cervix is sperm, and that's it. Yeah,
I mean even tampons, like very, very difficult to get that far up and like that deep, and that it's not unheard of, but it's not, and it's not impossible, but like very, very rarely.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad that you answered that, because that's like the first question everyone always asks me. Okay, next one. Do you have any tips and tricks for new menstrual cup users?
I think starting small is the best. So using like just trying to like just like looking at it and like just trying to understand it. And also doing like a little bit of research. So watch a couple of YouTube videos and I could read the instructions a couple of times. And what I actually, one of the ways that I kind of like, so before I even had my period, I was like, I just want to see, like, just try it out.
Yeah.
I didn't want to try period. So what I did is I took like a little bit of lubricant, like just like regular lubricant, like just body safe, and then just put it around the rim, because obviously there's no like lubrication because you're not on your period. And then I just like figured out like how to put it inside and like how it fits in, and it was a very like weird a very weird experience, but I also felt like, okay, it's like, so this is how it works, like this is how it's supposed to feel, because I know that it's improper if you can't feel it, but if you can feel it, like if but then you know that there's something that's not right. So I was like taking it out, putting it in, putting it back in, and then after, okay, so this is how it's supposed to feel. So when my period did come around, it was just like, okay, I had like an idea of how it needed to go in, and then it felt a little bit more. It wasn't like this whole like big like harrowing like experience where like, oh my god, there's blood and like there's all of these things going on. So that's definitely like something that I can recommend, just doing your research and like just giving it a go outside of your period. I know that if you're not sexually active, like the tissue around like your vagina is not that elastic, but also when you have your period, your the tissue around like your vagina, that whole area becomes quite sensitive and like quite sort of like vascularized, so it does get like a little bit easier. Everything's a little bit more like there's a lot more blood going to the area, so the area is a lot not as tense as it usually is, and the muscles are a little bit relaxed, because like we're taking medication because of like the pain or like muscle relaxants, so like the like your whole, I don't know, woman area is a lot more is it in like sort of different phases. But if you are like trying it for the first time, like just use a little bit of lube and like just relax. That's the like it's like the advice that I can give.
Like relax. Yeah, relax is like one of the most important. And also wash their hands, right?
Yeah, oh definitely, like that's like
but
sure you do like proper hand hygiene, and again, just take your time, just make sure it's like a non-pressured environment. Like I just like sat there and I was just like, this is very weird, but after a while you're just like, oh okay, it's so how it's supposed to.
I watched a YouTube video and it's like, what go into the shower and try to put it in. That was a disaster when I first tried, because it's just an awkward position in the shower. So once I went onto the toilet and I was in that kind of squatting position, everything was okay. So I think you have to find what works for you, because then some of my friends were like, no, I popped my leg up in the shower, it was perfect, and I was like, I don't know how you did that. Okay, on to the next one. Okay, we've already answered that, if you move between the different sizes. What do you love about the couplings kit?
I think, and I said this to you like in the beginning of the video, but like just like the variety. So I've only ever bought like single cups, just like one, and like I actually have like quite a few in like my bathroom. But like what I really liked about the coupling, that it came with the cleaning cup, because I've been like struggling to find one that was like affordable, because all of the ones that I've seen online were like 400, 600.
Oh, that's insane.
And then when they do have them on like Takealot, which is like which is like one of like our sites where we like to see basically like e-commerce vibes.
Yeah.
They'd always be sold out like really quickly. So I actually like bought like this little like saucepan that I just used to like cook my because I don't really use it for anything else. I mean, like that was the way that I would do it. And then when I got your kit, I was like, oh my gosh, like it's such like a godsend, because like I've been struggling. with the cleaning with the cleaning cup. It had like the 3 different sizes, like a cute little bag. The instructions were nice and clear, and it was like literally like a small little package, but like it literally had everything that I needed, or like anything that like somebody would require for like having like being on like your period. And like what I've actually done is I've put one of the cups in like a little bag, and I've put it into like my work bag. So like if and that goes with me like everywhere, like whether I go on a trip, whether I like stay at home, like it's always with me. And then just like my regular one is like the small and the medium is just like in my bathroom. So yeah, just like the variety is so nice, and it's really cute. Yeah, so like I really I've like I've used once only, but I'm like obsessed with it. Like all of my other menstrual cups are like little in this like little pouch thing, like just staring at me every time I open up my cupboard.
I feel bad for mine too. I had like 2 before I created the kit. And I just feel bad for them. I'm like, I don't love you anymore. There's nothing wrong with you, but there's just something. I don't know how to explain it. Especially like, remember we were speaking on WhatsApp, and I said to you that little stem with the round ball. It's not just a pointy end to it. I was like, for me, that was just amazing. That's why I chose that shape, because my other one kept like hurting the skin around me sometimes, and I was scared to cut it because I didn't want it to go too high and not be able to pull it out.
Under the same, this little flat part that like so I had to like also be aware of like how I folded it and how I put it in, and like that was like, and then I would always forget. So like once it's in and there was in and around, I have to take it out and I put it back in to put it in a more comfortable.
I feel you.
Round like that little rounded end, so like now I can like just like put it in, and like I don't have to be a little bit more aware of like where the little flat annoying part is going to be.
You're right, because sometimes when I used to put my other one in, that's what I struggled with a lot. I'd put it in, but it was like at a funny angle sometimes. So with ours, that with a round tip, even if it's at an angle, it doesn't even hurt you. That one would irritate me if I sat a certain way. I was like, ooh, and I'd sit funny, and I was like, oh, I've got to go to the bathroom and change it. There's no point in using a menstrual cup if it's going to give me this much headache. And also with the sterilizer part, I think the reason we put that in, obviously, because we wanted to give like a 1 kit to everyone. But I remember when I first got mine, and it was just so, I don't know, it's quite daunting when you first get it. You're watching all these YouTube videos, you're like reading instructions, you're trying to get it right. And then it says sterilize your cup. And I'm like, okay, but in what? So it's like boil it in a pot. And I was like, if my mom has to see me boiling in a pot, that pot's now for me. She can't cook with it. I was like, and like, pots are expensive. I said, how is the normal person who can't even afford like period products going to be now getting a pot or a mug? Or so I used a mug and I poured boiling water in it. But then I had this mug sat in my room, and I was like, this is not cute. What if I need, like, I'm away at a friend's house or something? Yeah, so that's how the sterilizing pot came in effect, because my mom was just on at me for first stealing her pot and then taking a mug. But the other day I also did a really cool thing. When I was, because right now I'm in England visiting my grandma. She's not too well, but I was in SA and our water got cut off, which is not something that happens in England, but growing up in Botswana, we're used to it. So I'm cool. I got my 5-liter containers there, whatever. And I said, this is a perfect opportunity for me to actually see how people without water would change their menstrual cup. We can't be advocating that, oh, you can only use a little bit of water in our sterilizer pot and still reuse it if we haven't tried it. So I poured like very little in, like 5 mils. I'm like, I'm going to do this. I poured it in, popped my cup in, shook it, and it actually cleaned it. And I was so impressed.
Oh, wow.
I thought, okay, you only need so little. It's so nice to actually try it. You should try it next time. And I thought, okay, so people who are going camping, people with little water resources, people in the villages, I thought this sterilizer cup is like a godsend.
It really is, because it's just like, it's something that you would overlook if it didn't bother you. So like if you're like me, I was like at home and I was just like, okay, I'm using one of your cups, but like don't worry, like I'll put it in like the dishwasher, like I'll wash it out. But like having like an all-in-one like product, it's so like I can't even begin to explain to you like how convenient it is, because like everything that you need is like literally in this like little black bag in like your cupboard in your bathroom, and it's like every that you need.
Yeah, I love it. When I was first making it, the company I was getting it from said, no, we can only have a black bag to keep 1 cup in, like the usual size. was like, no, it's not
Yeah.
going to work, because if I need to change between two in my period, or I need to take my little sterilizer pot with, I can't be buying other bags and putting them in. I need it all in one bag. So yeah, we definitely had to pull some strings to get the bag that size as well. Let's see what's the next one. I had something on my mind, but it'll come up. Okay, yeah, the last one was what makes our kit special to you as a couplings user, but I think you have answered that really well.
Yeah,
oh,
like
that's what I was going to say. With our, I don't know if you know this, but with our silicone, the medical grade silicone we use for our cups, it's also, we source that from Germany. So even though the whole kit is made in China, the actual silicone is sourced in Germany because we needed top quality. You know me, I was like, I've got to try these things. If I'm selling it to people or giving it to people in a foundation, they have to be top quality. I can't be coming back years later and people said, oh, it wasn't such good quality. This is what it's done to me. You know, we all have a social responsibility to give the best when we're giving.
Yeah, and also like if you're going to be using it yourself, and like if you're going to advocate for something, like you're like, I use this thing, you obviously want like the best type of thing for yourself, or like for your family, or like for your immediate, like or for your friends. So like I really appreciate that you went over and above, because like a lot of people would go, okay, like it's or like using this material is like it's almost the same, or it's just as good. Getting the best, and like it just shows that like you your ethics are like really in the right place.
Thank you. Our and our dye as well, because I didn't want a clear cup. I was just thinking of like stains, because I've never used a clear cup before, but I'm kind of scared of stains. So, and I also like things to look pretty when I use them. So yeah, we definitely went with purple, but I made sure that it's also non-toxic. Like I'm big on toxicity, so I was like, it's got to be natural dyes. So even with that, everything's like super natural. Even with the bag, a lot of companies have like that. I don't know if you call it sateen or that shiny bag. So again, I was offered that. I didn't want that. I needed the best, so it had to be cotton. It had to be breathable. We need the couplings to be nice and hygienic when you use them.
Yeah, no, I really like the little bag, because like incidentally, like all of the other cups that I have are clear, so like they like stain, but just like because I've like used them for so long, I've had them for so long, but they've actually like started to like discolor a little bit, but I know it's like not dirty, not messy. So like I think having purple's like really cute, and the other one that I have is black, which I also think is just like okay, but the purple I think is like really pretty. It's like really cute. Like I know that it's a menstrual cup and like not like other random things in my.
I was obsessed with black. So when we first started, I was like, we're doing black and pink will be our colors. I ordered the black ones as samples. I tried them and I was like, I don't know. I don't like them because I can't really see. I have to like stare in to see where like the level is for the day. And I was like, no, if I'm feeling like this after years of using a cup, I don't want first time users not to know like what's going on. And I was scared that they wouldn't clean it properly, especially in like areas with not a lot of water. You like clean it and you think it's clean. So at least the purple will show you if it's clean or not.
Yeah, and it's actually like really good thinking. I didn't actually think of that, because like all of my clear ones, and even my black one, but I didn't use the black one like that much. But like the clear one, like you could see that like it needed like a proper like clean, or you like needed a second rinse.
I think that's all the questions. Thank you, Dr. Laylah. And we really appreciate you actually giving us your time to do this little chat, because we know how busy you always are.
Yeah, I know. Like I'm so sorry that it's taken like 4 months for us to finally do this.
I love it. And I really think these kind of conversations are really important, like we said in the beginning, just to break those stigmas, just to talk about menstrual health and just to talk about menstrual products, because it's such a taboo. So like even in our African communities, you can't just go to your mom or dad, especially your dad, okay? But you can't even just go to your mom and your aunties and just talk about these things. So at least having this out on social media, even if they're like hiding away watching this, it's just breaking that barrier, you know?
Yeah.
And being that catalyst to the change that we all want to see.
Yeah, because like I have like 3 younger sisters, and they are all, so like the one who's like younger than me, the second eldest, she's like really interested in like using a menstrual cup, but like would want me there for like the guy. stuff. But like my two younger sisters, like they're still like figuring themselves out and like what they want to do. But like they know that like when they're ready, like you just like phone me and they'll be like, no, I can give you some advice, like on which ones to get. I even buy you a kit. Like that's how like that's how like invested I am in using the apps.
Cup cult. Start a hashtag. It's probably already there.
Yeah, I know. When I started, whenever I have my period and I do Instagram stories, I'm just like, "Hey guys, welcome to the cup cult." And like people always think it's so, but it's like it's actually like I feel like it's something that I'm just like just so passionate about, like equally as passionate about it as you are. I mean, like I didn't start like a foundation in the company, but it's like something that I'm just like very very like keen on. Like always tell people like like just try it, just try it.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you, Laylah. And I'll put all your links and everything in our description on our website and everything so everyone can follow you. Also, the amazing causes that you're doing right now in Cape Town as well. I want everyone to know it, but I'll do an injustice if I have to explain it now.
But thank you so much for having me. Like I think these conversations are very important, especially like on Women's Day. And yeah, just like getting the message out there and like just letting them know that you do have the products and like you've done the research, like you've done the work. And just thank you so much for like all of the effort that you've put in on your side. I mean, like 8 years is not an insignificant amount of time to invest in something like this.
Awesome. Thank you, Laylah, and we'll chat soon.
It's a pleasure. Bye.
Bye.